Hi guys, how's it going? So today in this video I'm going to be looking at what I think are the best languages to learn for web developers. So this video is actually for new developers and experienced developers alike, and I sort of compiled this list from the results of the Stack Overflow developer survey from this year. So without further ado, I think the number one spot obviously is going to go to JavaScript. So in the Stack Overflow survey, I think 62% of respondents said that they use JavaScript. Now these aren't necessarily all web developers, as you can use JavaScript for a lot of different purposes nowadays, but I still think 62% of all the respondents in a survey saying they use one language, there's something going right there. But if you are looking at the web side of things, obviously you have pure JavaScript, you still have jQuery in use, you have Angular, you have React, you have Vue, you have Node.js, you have blah, blah, blah. You have a lot of things that you can use JavaScript for nowadays in the web. So I think that's why it was there and why I think it's the number one language. So you can also use JavaScript nowadays to create native apps using React Native or PhoneGap. You can also use Electron to create desktop apps. So there really is a lot you can do with JavaScript. And again, you have the ecosystem behind the language. If you look on GitHub, if you look at the amount of repositories out there that are using JavaScript, it's the most popular language on GitHub. And the average salary in the US, at least for a JavaScript developer, is around $90,000. Of course, to command that kind of salary, you need to be in the industry for a few years, you need to have a bit of experience, but obviously it's there, it's within reach. The next language I'd suggest you look at as a web developer is actually Python. Myself, once I feel more confident with JavaScript, I think it's the next language that I'm planning on picking up, because it's more of a general purpose language. Obviously, it does have a lot of uses for the web, for servers, but you can also use it in normal desktop programming as well. It's just a super versatile language that you find all over the place today. Obviously, if you are going to be doing Python on the web, you do have frameworks like Django and Flask that you can use. But it seems like a really good option for beginners, seeing as it's relatively easy to pick up the syntax, and it's also a high-level language at the same time. There's also about 1 million repositories at the moment on GitHub using Python, and the average salary is around $99,000 in the US. So again, a couple of years experience, but it's definitely something to aim towards, and it is achievable as well. So personally, I think looking at what you can do with Python, looking at its staying power, looking at its relative ease of use and ease of learning, that's kind of why for me it's the next language I want to pick up and I want to learn, because I think it's going to be an amazing tool in my toolbox going into the further parts of my career. Language number 3 I would suggest looking at is Java. I think obviously when you hear the word Java, you think big business, you think corporations, you don't think of startups and scalability and dynamic usage. But 90% of Fortune 500 companies are using Java in their technologies, so there's a reason it's still there, and it's a reason it's still a popular language. Obviously, you've got the popular career paths with Java developers being integrated systems engineers or backend developers or even Android developers, but it still has a place on the web as well. Obviously, it can be used to build servers, it can be used to build backends, it can be used to build really powerful machine learning tools that, again, it's such a in-use language, it's really not going anywhere. And I think on the flip side, if you can put the time and effort into learning it, then you really should. You can also rest assured that if you're looking for a job and you have Java in your toolkit, you will get a job. There's about 980,000 repos on GitHub that are having Java as its main language, and the average salary in the US, again, is coming out to around $90,000. Finally, I'm actually going to round it off with Ruby. Ruby is a language I don't personally have much exposure to, but if you read the docs, the developers that created it for a reason. They wanted a language for developers by developers. Now, it is a high-level language. It does use a lot of reusable code, but also if you look at the syntax, it's very easy to understand. It seems very easy to pick up. I'd say a little drawback, if you look around some of the job sites, the job postings for Ruby are quite few and far between, but the jobs that are out there do have quite a good expected salary range. I've also noticed personally by looking at other YouTubers and other people that have done development boot camps in the US, Ruby seems to be a language that's really taught in boot camps abroad. I think also if you look at the Makers Academy, I believe it's based here in London, they also teach Ruby as part of their curriculum. So I guess there's a reason boot camps are pushing this language. Again, the average salary in the US for a Ruby developer is around $97,000, so there must be a reason why. So there it is, that's my list of what programming languages I think you should be looking at if you're either new to the world of web development, or if you're already in the world of web development and you're looking to go on and learn something new, learn a new language, learn a new piece of technology. That's my recommendation list. And obviously, if you have any experience with those languages, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about if you have any great resources for learning, or how you went about learning, or what you're doing with the language. And if you haven't already subscribed, I really appreciate it if you did. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you around next time.